Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. On this channel we talk all things fandom and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you know you've come to the right place. We're so happy to have you here. And this is Something Saturday. On Something Saturday we just kind of talk about things we didn't get to talk about the rest of the week. And this time we're going to be giving a review, a non-spoiler review of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so the film starts off with Christopher Robin meeting these anamorphic creatures. It's done in a way that resembles the cartoon origin, but instead makes a point to say they're anamorphic creatures and not really what they seem. So then he sort of befriends them and he continues to be their friend throughout his childhood. Suddenly there comes the time when he has to give up his friendship with them, but not for long, just long enough to go to college. However, as it's stated, during the winter, things go awry. And when things go awry during the winter, of course, they panic. They start eating each other and tearing each other apart. The two survivors end up being, of course, Piglet, as we saw in the trailer, and Winnie the Pooh. Now, that's not a spoiler because we're told that in the trailer, that these are the two you're going to be seeing. You don't see any of the others because they're simply not there. And being that it's told in an animated sort of fashion in the beginning with just these little rough sketch drawing type of things to tell us what was going on, it's not done in a way that makes it so that these creatures were ever seen on screen. We really don't get a chance to see them. We see Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And what happens is, of course, he comes back from college with his girlfriend. And he's taken her to see these imaginary friends that he had. She's a little bit of a disbeliever. She don't buy into it. He goes, come on, 100 Acre Woods. I know you thought this was all in my head, but it's really not. Now, any real girlfriend at this point is just going to turn around and leave him. But this one sticks with him, and she says, I want to see what it is that you're talking about, because if it's not real, then it's not real. And if it is, then yay, basically. That's the gist of what she says to him. So they decide to go to 100 Acre Woods, only to find out that there's no one there. And then suddenly he sees Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And they are not what he remembers. Something's happened to them. They're different. So then we jump forward and we get to meet these college students that are then kind of visiting and doing their own thing. And from there, it just sort of goes haywire. We get to see these college students who are trying to have this kind of getaway for a little while get picked off one by one. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet have survived the winter, becoming these horrible creatures who want to murder everything. Namely humans. They despise humans with a passion because they feel like Christopher Robin abandoned them. So we get to see this play out throughout the film, how they violently take each one of these people and murder them. And other than that, the film kind of runs the way you imagine it would. And the whole time, you're not under the impression that these are anything other than men in masks. However, they're supposed to be actual anamorphic creatures. There are a few times when you can get lost in the adventure of it, the slasherness of it, if you will. You can get sort of held up in the moment and believe what you're seeing for a fraction of a second. However, the movie does seem to miss a lot of marks that it would have succeeded in had it had a higher budget. Because keep in mind, this movie didn't have the biggest budget ever. This movie was a little nothing film that wasn't supposed to garner this much attention to begin with. But because it did, Now you have this whole thing where we can get to see a sequel to this movie. And I do believe a sequel will happen. But you can't go into this movie expecting anything other than men in rubber suits pretending to be these creatures. Because the second you do that, you're going to be nothing but disappointed. The movie's budget didn't really change a whole lot, although I think they added in some scenes, as I previously have reported, and these scenes kind of maybe added more gore or made certain scenes a little more realistic, violent, or dark, or open-ended, or something like that. They know that this movie garnered a lot of attention, and therefore they expect that they're going to get a sequel. Not to mention, the guy who made this movie is also going to be doing a Peter Pan horror movie sometime in the future and is working on a Bambi horror movie, as I've previously have reported on both of those as well. So, as long as you go in expecting this to be probably one of the horror movies that you'll deem one of the worst horror movies you've ever seen, it knows what it is and it seems to embrace it. The acting is subpar, but then it's a horror movie at a very low budget, so what are you going in to expect? Basically, the movie does what it does well when it does it. And that's really all I can say about it. Some of the kills are pretty cool. Some of the characters are kind of likable. So you start to develop a little bit of a sense for what you're getting yourself into. Overall, I give the movie 3 stars because it's not the best. But it's definitely a fun watch if you're completely bored one night and just want to see something absolutely crazy. Alright, so go ahead and leave us a comment in the comment box below. We want to hear from you. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's free and it helps the channel and we appreciate it. Then also, Miko says we need more subscribers, and you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, Miko's not going to turn into an anamorphic killer anytime soon. I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.